Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt
And I'm
Roast.
Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our reaction and review for Paradise Season 2, Episode 4. Now, if you guys are not aware, Dan Fogelman, a lot of other producers for this show, have stated time and time again there is a 3-season plan.
Mm-hmm.
These seasons are fairly short, and because of that, things have to move really, really fast. Things move so fast in this episode that I'm still trying to kind of catch up. I did not anticipate everything that we got here at all.
This season is moving very quickly because they also dropped 3 episodes for the premiere all at once. Like
Yeah.
it feels, we're already halfway through. Come on. Next season, please, please, please. One a week. Let's just have some time to breathe through these episodes. It's such a great show.
Yeah.
Give it time. Give it time. Only 3-season plan? Come on, give us more.
It's like we're big fans of a certain Apple TV show starring Idris Elba. We're watching him on a train, and it feels like we're on a runaway train this season at this point, where we spend all of this time, episode 1, getting to know Annie and Link,
Oh.
their amazing, beautiful love story. Now, at the end of episode 4, Link is outside the bunker and Annie is dead. How did we get to this point this fast?
I don't know. It is just, this episode was so shocking. It was going so quickly. Losing Annie, man, that love story of Annie and Link, I know they didn't know each other that long, but it was just such a beautiful, emotional, end of the world connection. I'm devastated.
I am really heartbroken, and I don't know if I've been this surprised by a character being taken out for some time. It's like reminiscent. Once upon a time, deep into the lore of Lost, they had this idea that they were going to cast this A-list actor and kill them off in the first episode to prove no one is safe. And it's like, Shailene Woodley is a really big name actress, and I thought, based on the promotion, all of this stuff leading into this season, oh, she'll be around the whole time. Sterling's out here talking about working with her. Yeah, you worked with her for an episode and that's it. Now she's just gone.
I know. It's just, it was really shocking to lose her.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk more about that, but also, who is Link really? What is his actual end game? Because he seems like a nice guy at times, then he also seems like a very dangerous guy at other times. Like, what's the truth here?
Absolutely. I mean, is he a friend? Is he a foe? Is he there to take down the bunker? What is going on?
All right, well, before we dive any further in that, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We will be here throughout all of Paradise Season 2, breaking things down with you guys. We are also in the midst right now of covering The Pit, and moving forward, you guys already have Hulu if you're watching Paradise. The Testaments is finally showing up, the long-awaited spinoff to The Handmaid's Tale. Jess and I love that universe. We can't wait to get into it.
And as Matt mentioned, Hijack is airing on Apple TV, and we have those videos weekly exclusively for our members here at the channel. Joining our memberships is a great way to help support us here at the channel to be able to continue bringing you these videos. And also you get extra content and you get to watch shows that we don't have here at the channel. So thank you so much to everyone who has joined.
Thank you guys. We really, really appreciate that.
Okay, let's get into the Link of it all, because I mean, we saw Link in this episode. That group that he is traveling with, it is large. I mean, I know that they kind of mentioned there was more people and that they were going to be meeting more people in that first episode with Annie, but that is a large group of people.
This is a large group of people.
And he seems to be in charge.
Yeah, it feels to me a lot like, we heard a little bit of this in the premiere, that he was picked up along the way by some. We got some of his backstory with this Geiger fella, but ultimately, he's the quote-unquote chosen one in a way. He is the person who can lead the charge, go up to the bunker, hold up the sign that says knock, knock, and a lot of this seems to all connect to that flashback we saw where it feels like Link knows quite a bit about whatever Sinatra was digging into within these first few episodes.
Yeah, so we'll go back in a time machine, since it seems like this whole show is about time travel. Beep, bop, 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 boop. We are in the past. So we know that Link was this protege of this guy who had whatever the creation was, whatever business he was working on, that Sinatra wanted so badly the minute that she learned, hey, you can buy anything you want, but but the one thing you can't buy is time. She was like, okay, bet. I'm going to try to find a way to be able to buy back time. Now, whether it's to go back in time because she lost her child, it's to go back in time to save the world. We don't know that motivation entirely. Maybe a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, is a little
Mhm.
bit of both, you know?
Yeah.
But she doesn't know, we don't think about Link out there because, as far as we know, unless Billy ended up telling her, it was this guy and his wife, Alex. And the protege was left by Billy being like, you didn't see me. I didn't see you. No problem. See you later. It's all done. So, did Billy actually keep his word or not? Does Sinatra actually know about Link or not? Link knows about Alex that's there. We know from the first episode, he was like,
Mm.
we're going to be going to this bunker. We're going to kill Alex. Now, because we know that the person, the creator's wife was Alex, whatever this is, it seems like it's probably some sort of computer system, AI system, something along these lines that was named after his wife, that he knows about it. He knows about it. He knows how it works. He's got the ins and outs of it. Link is somebody who is very dangerous then to this bunker if the idea is to go there and end it.
Yeah.
But does that make him the bad guy? Not
think it's
necessarily.
Not necessarily. And I think Paradise loves this. They love asking who's a good guy or not. They've already done this for a full season with Sinatra. And listen, this machine or process known as Alex, this is not the first time some technological genius has decided to name their invention after a late spouse or family member. Like, this happens a lot. I am going to plant my foot in the camp of I
Mhm.
don't think Sinatra knows about Link, because once again,
I don't think so either.
yeah, we only have so much time with this show. I have to believe in my full heart that Dan Fogelman wasn't just like, oh, I really like the actor who played Billy. Let's put all these flashbacks in with him, unless they were absolutely necessary. And it's a lot
Yeah.
more necessary if he meets this character, tells this character to go away, and then just takes that secret to his grave, because then we actually understand what the stakes are.
Absolutely. I mean, what's the point of seeing Billy meet this character, be
Mhm.
like disappear, and then go and tell Sinatra anyways?
Yeah.
I just don't think Link would be alive if that was the case. If Billy went and was like, yeah, there was this, protege, but I couldn't get to him, whatever. She'd be like, okay, well then, this guy needs a breath mint to go take care of this, or she would have sent somebody else. She would have figured it out.
Now, presuming that Link has all the information that he did, he's knowledgeable enough that there's something in this bunker that he has to take down, then the
Yes.
question becomes, okay, then why? I mean, this is where there are a million different theories. There's so many directions you can bounce back and forth on with
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, I mean, could it just be plain old revenge at this point? I mean, he was a protege of somebody he really looked up to, his mentor, his wife as well. That it's like, okay, and then you had him killed, and then you stole this so that you could like protect a bunch of other, people that are more important to us. It could be just about that, about like, hey, all of us mean something. Why do you guys mean something more than my mentor or his wife, that you are willing to end their lives over this thing, to just take it from him? Like, no.
I think the other
I love revenge.
revenge is a very, very good motivator. Like, we cannot pretend otherwise.
Those stories are so fun.
It would be very, very fun. I'm going to also posit this idea of, and this comes from me watching way too many time travel slash universes slash multiverse shows and movies and video games, that maybe Link knows that whatever this technology is, it's unproven still, or it's faulty, or it's just this idea of, let's say that Sinatra is building a time machine and she's going to be able to go back to the past. Who's to say that that would actually work then? Is it a situation where the lines of fate are so specific that what's going to happen to the quote unquote end of the world is probably going to happen no matter what? If Sinatra goes back in time, tries to stop it, and then somehow makes things worse, at the very least, there are people still out there, whether it's in the bunker, on the outside world. Yeah, we have been told many, many things about how all this is just going to keep getting worse. But what if you can change that? Instead of trying to change the past, why not try to change the present. Is there something more that can be done there?
Yeah, there might be something more. This is one guy's theory. And while
Mhm.
his theory seemed to be correct on how it started, that doesn't mean that he's 100% correct, that people can't be saved moving into the future, that all the things he's saying are going to happen, the oceans are going to dry up, this, that, whatever, that there isn't another way, or that maybe not all of those things are going to happen.
Yeah,
He doesn't have a crystal ball.
no, and I think it's more than fair for all of us to be wondering, okay, is Link a good guy then? Because is Link trying to stop something that could end up being worse? And this is where we go back into everything that you said with Sinatra earlier this video. She's someone who has experienced loss. She is
Yes.
someone who likes to feel like she is in charge, that she has all the power. I think when you combine those two elements, it's sort of like, who of you out there were in high school in chemistry class and the teacher looked the other way and you started to think, I'm going to make this whole beaker explode and it's just, I'm going to cause all this chaos and you're just going to create these big chemical
Oh
reactions.
my God, I'm so glad I was in chemistry class with you. People weren't doing that in my class.
Listen, it
I was
sounded
listening.
fun. I don't know if I never actually did it, but I thought about it. But no, it's one of these situations though. You're going to trust this person who's going to be reckless because they have all these different emotional components. Like, do you really want to trust that even if this technology works correctly, that Sinatra's going to use it right? Like, she has too many personal reasons to want to go back.
Yeah, she does have personal reasons, and those personal reasons could really shift a lot of things for everybody else if you believe in that, as far as time travel lore, that it changes everything in the future. And he probably just doesn't want that. That at this point, he's just like, I've met this woman that I'm in love with, and I don't want her to have this. I don't want her to change things. We have figured out how to continue to live up here. We've built a really great community up here. Maybe they don't want to go back and they feel that they're able to continue to build a better future like Earth Abides. For those of you out there that watch that show along with us, it was so good.
It was good.
That they're just like, you know what, we want to rebuild and we want to do better next time. We don't want to go back to the way it was. Humans made too many mistakes. It's time to move forward and do better. And we can't do that if Sinatra's going to be messing about with Alex. So I think that that's really why he's there, is to stop that from happening. And a little bit of, you did this to my mentor, now I'm doing this to you.
Yeah, I hope that they have an upcoming episode that explains a lot of that specifically, because the big humdinger still to me is that even if, let's say, Link has all this information and he feels wholeheartedly that these things are going to happen, how does he convince all these other people who don't have any of the background or the backstory and all of this? I do think it has to be that idea of, this could really harm us. We can build a better future for ourselves. It's like, that's just a really compelling emotional argument, right?
Absolutely. And they have said that. That's like, oh, we have to make this one stop on the way to going to this other place where people are trying to rebuild community and rebuild lives together.
We do have to talk for a minute or two here more about what happened to Annie. And I'm going to mostly frame it in this way. Obviously, it's shocking, it's devastating, emotional. All of that is true. But I'm also kind of sitting back and feeling it was sort of random that they never really presented at any point before this that Annie knew that there was a chance that something like this could happen to her while she was pregnant. It just sort of felt really out of the blue that it suddenly comes up, oh, by the way, I have preeclampsia. There's a good chance that something as horrible is going to happen to me.
Okay, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not the biggest fan of we're going into labor and giving birth stories that are inside other stories. They seem to kind of end in just a few different ways. And I knew obviously we were going to have something, obviously, because Annie is pregnant, but I didn't expect for her to die. She is a big actress. I know that this show does take big chances like that. So, it's a possibility that anybody can go on this show. But I wasn't expecting it to be now, and I think it's just because I was so invested in that love story. Oh my God. That when she ended up dying in his arms, looking at her baby, I was sobbing.
It was so sad.
Sobbing. I was waiting by the end of this episode for Xavier to be like, this baby name Hope. I totally felt like he was going to say, I'm naming this baby Hope, after that whole flashback with the president. they need to just let him go. I'm just gonna say it. I
Yeah.
really like seeing him. I really enjoyed him in season 1, but it's enough. You
Yeah.
guys decided to kill him off. You got to let him go.
Yeah, I don't think we needed as many flashbacks at the president in this episode, if I'm being totally honest.
It didn't add anything to it because that baby is not even named Hope at this point.
Yeah, we don't know where that story is going. I will say, for the sake of Sterling K. Brown, like, this is the ultimate. We are 100% all in back with the quality of your performance, Sterling. You were so unbelievably good in
Yeah,
this episode.
he's just so good.
His eyes looking at the baby. I don't know why that was the thing that really got me. But as we continue forward, so Xavier, with the help of some very trusting random people
Yep.
who ended up really trying their best in this situation, very good positive message, we get to the end of this episode where we meet Teri's friend, or at least who he's claiming was his close friend, and the way in which he speaks. I had to watch this a couple of times. He speaks as though she's still alive. It
Mhm.
doesn't seem like she's gone, but that she has been taken. So who took her?
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty interested to even hear that because we have been meeting so many groups of people
Mhm.
now. We've met up with Link's group, who turned out to be a bunch of really nice guys who, brought Annie food and conversation, companionship and love, all these wonderful things, and then had moved on. And then we saw what happened with Annie, and she was so untrusting of people, where Xavier's like, "Oh, I'm going to go get help." And they all came, help, blankets, pots, water, able to do anything they can to be able to help her deliver. That I've been like, people are the way that, I feel like people just are. They're trusting, they care about each other. People need people. But yes, there's always going to be some bad people out there. So, I mean, who's got Teri? If somebody took her, it's not for anything good.
No, the motivation here is bad. And I'm kind of sitting back and thinking, all right, there's a couple of different scenarios here. Is there a chance that this friend is just straight up lying and he knows where Terry is and we're going down some dark road where Xavier's going to trust him because he's trusting? Like, all of that is possible. I tried to sit back and think about everything else, and the only spots I landed are either Sinatra has people in Atlanta that she's kind of been communicating with, and she was able to intercept this situation before Xavier arrived, or it's the Lost Boys who were told about Teri, but it's like, you're going to tell me that all of those kids made it down to Atlanta before Xavier did?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, they took his bag, so they have all this information. So it's possible that they're reporting back to other adults that
Mhm.
ended up there. I mean, we know that Xavier was out for a couple of weeks. He was healing, so that gave time for another group to travel. It could be them. They did for sure build that up, where, Link was like, "Oh, this area, not a good area,
Yeah.
don't go into this area." And then it turned out it wasn't a very good area. So it's possible that they were kind of like, "Oh, this guy really wants to get to this woman. Cool, we'll take this woman, and that way maybe we can get more out of him as well."
Yeah.
That makes total sense. However, Sinatra also makes sense. And I do think that she still has ties to people on the outside world that she's able to communicate with. It would only make sense. She needs to know what's going on out there.
Yeah, and the idea of Terry being taken by just some randos that we have never met before, 1.5 seasons in, it's just like, that's not that
It's too
interesting.
random.
Yeah, unless the
No.
really, really amazing character that you can introduce in a tiny amount of time.
There's not enough. And it's not this guy. I just don't think
No.
it is. It doesn't make any sense unless he's like fallen in love with her and she is not in love with him and he's trying to keep them apart.
Now, Paradise, since you are moving very, very fast, my hope for the
Yes.
next episode, Xavier finds Terry, and then they just hightail it back to Paradise. They're back in Paradise by episode 6. We just get all of these characters back together
Yeah,
again.
yes.
But-
I really, really, really like that he has this baby. It really reminds me of This Is Us, and that it's sort of now he's the person that's adopting another baby instead of
Oh.
him being the adoptive baby. I just really like it so much.
Oh, full circle.
Full circle. We love you, Randall Pearson.
Now my heart is just like.
I love this show. I
Yeah.
love this showrunner. I love it.
Well, that is where we are when it comes to Paradise Season 2, Episode 4. But let's turn this over to you guys. What do you think is going on with Teri? Do you trust Link? Give us your thoughts, your theories,
Mhm.
and hit that subscribe button for more coverage. And you can support us further by joining our memberships, all sorts of exclusive content there. Thank you so much. We will see you here next time.